Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Aged Out Reacts with the two hosts of the Aged Out podcast, Michael Fantini and
Evan Worrell.
And we figured today it would be kind of appropriate based on recent news to react to a year for the Cadets that I couldn't believe that we actually hadn't done. I think I saw on our playlist we've done like over 100 reaction videos now, and somehow we haven't done the Cadets 05. Which,
a lot of those are current or were reactions to that season. So we haven't done a ton of throwback ones or in the past ones. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it blew my mind a little bit because I grew up on this line. I think you watched this line a ton when you were in your younger years in high school and all that kind of stuff, and in college too, I'm sure. But before we jump into this and get into the news, in case you've been living under a rock and haven't heard, make sure you comment, like, subscribe on the video. Check out the podcast on all podcast services. We're on TikTok now. Check out Instagram, Facebook for any updates, as well as short form content, patreon.com, or click the join button right here on YouTube if you want to support us financially at all. Now, if you haven't heard, the Cadets are not fielding a drum corps for the 2024 season, unfortunately, despite having what seemed like a very successful competitive season, especially for the percussion section. We just talked to Lee Bettis a week and a half ago, and
I think it was literally we talked to him 2 days before the news broke.
Yeah, it was funny. A friend of mine texted me after the news broke, and they were like, "Man, who are you going to have on your podcast next and fold that drum corps?"
Yeah, I mean, Lee at the time when we were recording didn't know anything about it. Obviously, in the recording, he was like, "Yeah, we just submitted our drum order to Yamaha." So very, I guess, surprising to the staff as well. Which kind of sucks, but
yep.
I mean, we could probably do a whole podcast about what DCI needs to change, but that's not what this is. So
we might do that down the road. Actually, we probably have some good guests we could bring on to make that happen. But that's neither here nor there for right now. Today, we're here to appreciate probably one of the best Cadets drum lines that's probably ever existed.
Up there for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely in that conversation.
There's been a lot of good ones,
tons of good ones, but I'd say this one was definitely in the conversation. So we have a video from.
I'd say top 10. I would say probably top 10 Cadets Drumline.
Yeah, 03,
I'd have to actually make a list.
05, 13. Yeah, we'll do that later.
Yeah.
That's possibly another piece of Instagram content we could do for a bunch of different drum corps, like top 5.
Top 10, yeah.
Top 5 drum lines they've ever had. That's
Mount Rushmore.
We're brainstorming here live on the air, so. All right. This is a video from Robert Martinez, R-Bass 311. It's actually like a 43-minute video. I'll switch screens here. Super long, tons of rehearsal footage and all that stuff. Go subscribe to R-Bass 311's channel on all social media platforms, on YouTube, all that stuff. He puts in a ton of work, as do all the people that provide lot videos for us to react to. So we appreciate all of them immensely. So let's jump in. We have a few 2 or 3 minute short clips we've isolated that we want to hit on, hit like the feature, the opener, some of the more iconic phrases from the year. So let's just jump in here. We'll catch the end of the bass here.
I actually played a lick from this show in my Cadets audition when I made it.
I think there was a lick when I auditioned for. Whatever. We'll get into that.
I'll
later.
find it. I'll point it out.
I'm gonna fix something real quick.
It's in the drum solo. It was in the packets though. They used to send out these Cadets packets.
Well, Unks put that book out that was a bunch of exercises, and there was an 07 lick in there. I think an 05 lick in there. But yeah, let's jump in. I think they just finished the 8th rep, and we'll. I think they're using pick tips right now, aren't they?
I love the pick tips.
I know. They sound so nice and crispy. The walking bass layering under that snare phrase is so cool. I'm going to back up because they passed the ball really well over to the quad line, but there's bass line going on underneath that paradiddle bass 16th note snare phrase that just kind of drives momentum clearly for the core, but the basses are doing real intricate stuff under it.
All that snare stuff just stays right around the mezzo forte or 6-inch height, whatever you're thinking there.
Yep. So again, pay attention to the bass line before it passes over to the quads. It's a really interesting walking bass figure.
This music was always so fun to play.
It just flows so well in the hands. Good rolls from the snares. I think it can't be understated in that quad phrase. There wasn't a single crossover in that entire thing, but it was more of just layering, meant to layer the snare drums and provide a lot more just oomph behind the phrase and provide that momentum and tempo for the core. But it was still effective.
These books built macro phrases so well.
Oh, man. Just over such long periods of time. The bass is still just passing quarter notes.
Just those little bursts.
It's a very vertical phrase, snare to quad.
Oof. I love that 7-stroke. Now let's switch to 8th note in the bass.
Good quality on that roll. Very good quality. Another one.
Classic.
Crazy
Quad feature was so well known.
The old school backstick. Love it. The very vertical.
Covering so much real estate with the elbow.
I love that jump to the triplet at the end of that phrase. Just get that extra little bit of velocity just to bring the phrase home. I'll back that up. Because the whole thing stayed duple the whole time and just dynamically built and layered itself. And then it just switched to the afterburners for those triplets, those double accent rolls.
Kind of passing the ball back and forth too between the flat line. Yeah, these are the most inefficient backsticks ever.
Yep. Wait for it. So much power. I've heard some of these phrases so many times in my life.
I can still hear these with the horn book. This is one of the beginning drum lines I ever saw live in person, really.
I never got to see him
Louisville,
live.
Kentucky, 2005, and then I think I saw him again in Indianapolis in 2005.
Good tap vibes from the quads. Just the cold attack, massive singles. All right, we're gonna skip through some of this rehearsal stuff.
August 7th. So we're getting later in the season here. It's
Yeah, I don't
probably
know
like about done.
Yeah, I think
them.
the footage in this long video is from all over the end of the summer. I don't think it's I think this next part might be finals or like Allentown week or something.
I'll find out what finals day was while we're looking.
I think it was August 7th.
Could have been. August recaps. Let's find them. I love the internet.
I've said
also
before
to say
here,
like so finals were on August 13th. So
okay, so it was
close.
Allentown weekend pretty much.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, the technology then obviously like don't have the quality like the videos we have from Robert and the team these days.
This should show you to not take for granted the quality of lot video and like documentation we have of these groups that Robert and everybody else that puts videos out, George,
Drumline AV,
Alex Wynn,
Drumline
AV Archives, all of them,
blogs,
the whole group of them, like this is like the best video that exists for these people on the internet. Whereas now you've got like 4K, multiple angles, perfect audio positioning and balancing, and
They got the microphone in the middle.
So what I'm saying is go subscribe to all their channels so we can make sure they keep doing it.
Eights never go out of style.
This is a little better quality than the same phrase earlier. That was a crispy phrase. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's crispier.
That drum finish is awesome. It's like bubbles and champagne or something.
Yeah.
Sparkly.
Yeah, that pick tip phrase was immaculate. This is something, I'll point this out real fast because you and I were talking about this as we were like picking the 2 spots we wanted to watch of this video. They obviously, like nowadays, you'll have people where you see like full percussion ensemble videos, they'll put the mics in different spots and the video can get different angles, yet the audio is not affected by the angle of being off to the side. I'm like 99% sure, when the camera is looking down the side of the snare line, that's where the audio is getting picked up from.
Yeah,
or like,
mic's on the...
So if it sounds perfectly clean from, I think he goes to the side of the snare line here in a second. When that happens, they're that clean because it sounds good. Like the
clean
audio
from
recorders,
the side.
That's how you know you're balanced and dialed in. Like even the side of the quads here too. Good roll. Yeah, like this angle. Just in there. Behind the quads. Like that's just clean. Like this. Again. Ooh, those tap drags.
Halfway roll.
There's like one double stroke that like lost balance in that.
Out, yeah. I love this Hocket, yeah. Just going, man.
Just drive the whole time.
The snare roll into the quad roll, go back a little bit, so
Yeah.
you get kind of like that echo in the phrasing, and then it passes over to the quads.
It's hard to jump around because of how long this video is. Yep, that rolls. Oh, nice feel change.
Yeah.
Nice feel change to the triplets. So I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that whole phrase, they're probably like, because it was very consistent from a feel standpoint. I bet they're just like hauling behind the horn line that whole time, just moving around, providing time.
Classic. I think this is the
Hearing that bottom bass completely from that angle.
overtone, yeah.
Woo! Into that phrase is nice. Woo! Keeping those singles consistent.
The part I learned was at the end of the drum break. After all this.
Just the level of clarity despite the density of notes and verticality of the writing.
This part.
I learned this part too, actually.
All these same hand flame drags.
Mm-hmm.
And the singles.
Into the fast PDDs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that phrase. Actually,
I remember
the
learning that and playing it. I freaking rocked that out in my individual.
I learned that because the guy that taught us in my sophomore year of high school, Demond, who I've mentioned on here before, Marsh Cadets in the early 90s, he put that phrase, or tried to, in our show that high school year. Like, he made it a little easier, but he still taught us like the normal phrase. I played that all through high school. Such a fun phrase to play.
The only thing that hasn't been on here really is that was a staple from this show too is the add-in they did in the ballad, that liquid bond.
I'm sure it's in this video at some point in the 45 minutes.
Yeah,
but it is a really cool phrase. We didn't find it. Somebody else can put a time. If you find it, or if we find it after we upload this, we'll put the timestamp for it, like in the comments section or something.
The liquid chart.
Yep. So, man, this was a line that was a huge part of my upbringing in drum corps. Like,
right.
I was obsessed with it. I watched like the Vic Firth in the lot videos on Vic Firth's website, like before YouTube was really a thing, and
the vault.
Just so many iconic licks and phrases that people just knew for so long, for years. Yep. And just to say, like, I'm disappointed, unfortunately, that the Cadets aren't fielding a corps this summer, but hopefully, like, Vanguard took 23 off and they're back this coming summer. Hopefully the Cadets will be back in 25. Have they announced they plan to obviously come back in 25? I would think.
I mean, I don't think they've announced anything other than
they're not
their intentions to not do it this year. I'm sure that in some sort of press release somewhere, there's a statement saying like we want to build for like whatever to come back in 25 or something, but
so
nothing obviously official.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see. You and I said this when the news first dropped. Of Boston's probably going to be really even better now, and then I bet Boston gets a lot of kids, and I bet Cavies get a lot of kids.
I mean, people who want to march, they got to go somewhere. So
yeah. Boston and Cavies are the two that I think are going to pick up a lot of the Cadets people that
at least from like percussion section.
Yeah, percussion for sure. Like Boston will be, I would imagine, where a lot of them would try to go, but I really don't know. I mean,
just stylistically similar.
Yeah. It would match up the easiest transition, but we'll see what happens. I'm stoked for next summer, but we have indoor first, so I know all the auditions and stuff are happening right now, and some groups have set their lines, and I think most of the top groups probably have set their groups at this point. I know X has.
Most of them, yeah.
I know for sure X has. They announced all that stuff and put their
Pulse did like a month ago.
Yeah, right. California, start early. But yeah, so everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. We loved watching and like going down memory lane of this group. Comment, like, subscribe, Facebook, Instagram. Hit the join button here on YouTube, patreon.com for financial support. And we will see everybody in the next one.
Peace.